Good morning, my dear students. I hope that you can hear me well. You can see the screen. So please, if you can hear me, or you can at least see the screen, write something in the chat. Okay, I see that you hopefully can hear me or can see me or see the screen of Excel. So today we are going to continue learning the Excel basics and how to work with formulas and some other tools that we can use in our work. So today we're going to speak about logical functions, error handling, data validation, and some more tools that you can use in your everyday life and in your professional life as well. So let us return to our tables. First of all, we will speak about the combination of several criteria or combination of several conditions. Let's create a new worksheet, name it to lecture 3, 4, 1. Make it a little bit bigger. And what we do need, we need a table with name, hours worked, let's find it, yep, experience, and bonus. Let's copy this table. Let's make the header gray for today. Like this. Very good. Like this. Okay, so now we want to make... Oh, by the way, we have already discussed these logical functions when we speak about and or. Yep, so you see, there we had some functions with or and. In this case, we just combined several criteria. So this was not the case. It was not very difficult. We just use functions like and or. If we use function and, we want to use both conditions. If we use function or, we just use one of the conditions proposed. So this is not very difficult. As soon as we have already discussed this the previous class, let's go on with the complex functions that we need to learn. So let's delete this table. Why not? Let's try to find some table that will help us in the future. Okay. Okay, let's get this table one more time. Delete this table. We'll need the name, sex, and children amount. How many children they do have. Okay, let's try to get the sex, like male or female. Houston is going to be male, Corey male, Kira female, female and male. Okay, and number of children. So how to do this? Well, let's get the random amount of children. For these we can use formula which is called rand, or in our case we would like to use rand between. This allows us to pass the random value between the pair of values. So we will use to 0.5. Like this. Very good. Let's copy this. Very good. Okay. So now we would like to count how many males we do have and how many females we do have. So how to do this? Of course we can do this using the filter. For example, we go to sort and filter, we use filter, we go with male or female only. Let's count the females, and we can choose these and see that we have 7 females in general. So this is not very difficult, but if you would like to count something, we may have mistakes, and you will see these mistakes in the future. So we can do this faster, actually. Let's delete the filter. Yep, this is good. And in order to count the males amount, we just can use the formula function which is called COUNTIF. So what COUNTIF does? COUNTIF actually, let's go to the function, it counts the number of cells within a range that meets the given condition. So we just count the number of males. Very good. COUNTIF, and the criteria is going to be male. We have 8 male. If we want to go to have females, we are going to do absolutely the same. Of course, we will move it right down and use female. And we have 7 females. And then we need to understand what is SUMIF. SUMIF is a little bit more complex than COUNTIF, but the idea is absolutely the same. For example, we just want to find out how many children male and female employees do have. So how to do this? Male children and these. Very good. So how to do the children of male employees mount? You just go to SUMIF, and we need the range for the criteria. The range for the criteria is going to be the sex column. Then we need the criteria. The criteria is male. and then you to choose the sum range, the range which is going to be sum counted for. So we choose the children amount. Press enter and we have 24 children for male employees. And the same goes with the female employees, but instead of male, we just write female. And 8 children for female employees. Something like this. So this is the SUMIF and COUNTIF functions. We can even make some bigger actions, bigger conditions counted. We can just see how many employees have more than, for example, 1 or 2 children, etc. So this is absolutely up to you. You can do this as you wish, as you want. It depends on the aims of your work, actually. Okay. Then, when we know about COUNTIF and SUMIF, we need to know about their complex options or complex variants like COUNTIFs and SUMIFs. When we see the ifs as the end, we can understand that there are a lot of them. And we use them when we want to count using a lot of criteria. For example, let's start with COUNTIFs. We want to count the number of male employees that have children. Male with children amount. Let's have more number of male with children amount and female with children. So how to do this? We will use the function which is called COUNTIFs. It allows us to use several criteria, and you see that we can have criteria range 1, criteria 1, criteria range 2, criteria 2, etc. So what are we going to do? We want to count the number of male employees with children. So first of all, we can say that the first criteria range is going to be the sex column. Criteria 1 is going to be male. Then criteria range 2 is children amount. And criteria 2 is more than 0. 7 employees have more than 0 children, have children at least. And let's do the same for the female employees. And instead of this, we just write female. And 4 female employees have children. Next, we need to understand what SUMIFs can do. Let's just move all the values a little bit to the right, like this, and let's create a new column which is called bonus. Let's create a bonus for the employees depending on the number of children they have. So that means that our bonus is going to be, for example, children amount multiplied by 1000, or let's have $500 maybe, Let's have it like this. And now we have the bonuses. So now we would like to sum all the bonuses for the employees that have more than 2 children. So what are we going to do? Like bonuses of employees that have more than 2 children. Like this. We are going to use the formula which is called SUMIFS. SUMIFS. Okay, we're going to use the sum range. This is the value that we're going to sum, or this is the column that contains the values that we're going to sum. Then criteria range is, of course, children amount, and the criteria is that they are more than 2, at least. And actually we can finish it up there, so we can see the final number. But if we want to add another criteria, for example, we want to see for all the male actors or employees that have more than 2 children, we are going to have a situation like this. So we can just insert as many criteria as we want. Moreover, what we can do in Excel is the possibility to create the input masks for the text. Let's create a new table. Create a new table. Lecture 4.2. Like this. And this is going to be item ID and price. Like this. Okay, the item ID is going to be the combination of 2 letters and 3 numbers, like AA, 1, 2, 3, AB. Create some of the values. And that's enough. And let's just set the random price rand between. Between 15,000 and 100,000. Like this. Of course, we have some. No, we do not have any duplicates. That's perfect. Okay, so what we want to count is we want to find the sum of the prices of the items, the ID of which starts with AA. How to do this? Total sum AA. how are we going to do this? We are going to use the SUMIF function. SUMIF. We have the range of criteria range. Then our criteria is to choose all the values with item ID starting with AA. How to do this? We just press AA and asterisk. Asterisk means that we can use any number of characters of any type, even if there are no characters at all. So let's close it and find that. Oh, I did not put the sum range. Yeah, now we got it. Because we have AA123, AA3, 4, 5, and AA9, 8, 9. So a lot of them. And by the way, let's go there and have one more example. We want to count the sum of bonuses of the male or female employees, just employees whose name ends with S. Something like this. So So we just want to count the sum of their bonuses. Let's do this. It's going to be SUMIF range is going to be there. Then to use asterisk and as. And then we just use the sum criteria, sum range. Press enter, and we can see Clements, Reynolds, and Santos, Banks, and Norris. All of them have 0. That is why everything is absolutely correct. So and yeah, and has Reynolds and Clements. So this is not very difficult. And by the way, we can also use the mask with the question mark. Question mark means that we can use any character in the number of 1. So let's create a new column, which is going to be called the phone number. And maybe somebody entered the numbers incorrectly. So the standard is looking like this. We want to have so that nothing changes. We just use apostrophe before and like this. And then somebody just enters which is not very good, of course. Then we have, by the way, let's make it like this. Somebody just uses like and of course there are a lot of mistakes. And let's just copy. So what we would like to find, actually, our task may be to find people whose telephone number is entered correctly using the international standard. So in this case, a number entered correctly. So we need just to use count if, to use range, and criteria is going to look like this. The international standard is the country code, then we need two numbers of the operator code. We just use two question marks, and then we have 7 numbers of a standard telephone: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Close and find that we have 6 people with the correct telephone numbers only. This is it. This one, this one, this one. We have 5 already, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. So everything is correct. Please tell me, do you have any questions about these logic functions and how we use them? Okay, great. So let's go on with the following topics. Now we will work with a very interesting combination of functions, which is actually can be considered as the extended analog of the horizontal or vertical lookup function. So let's create a new table. Like this. So we need a new table, and in this case the vertical lookup will not help us at all. So I will show you an example. Let's create a new table with the order details, like order ID, price, then quantity, and total amount. Like this. So order ID may be absolutely different. Let's have them in different order. So 1, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 2, 4, 8, 7. Yep, 10 values is enough. Price, quantity. Quantity is going to be different. 2, 5, 10, 17, 1, 3, 8, 9, 15, 11. So the price is going to be taken from another table. Let's create this table. It's going to be the product, then ID, price. So what products can we have? Let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 IDs. And the products, apple, watermelon, bread, sugar, then, I don't know, just melon, pineapple, milk, then probably ice cream, banana, and fish. So a little bit about the price. Let's have random between. The smallest price is going to be 300, and the highest is going to be 110, half. Okay, like this. So we want to get the price from this very table into this table. And the problem is that vertical lookup function is not going to work. So let's remind ourselves about it. So lookup value is the order ID. Table array is this one, and don't forget to fix it. For and F4. Then column index number. Of course, we need the price, and it is the third one. And range lookup is 0. And you see, we are not able to get any values. And the problem of vertical lookup is the one that makes this mistake possible. So what is this problem? Vertical lookup has some restrictions, and one of them is that the column based on which we are going to compare values should be the first one. For example, if we look at the order ID and we have the ID column here, it should be the first one. And in this table, the first one is the product column. That is why we will use the combination of two functions, which are called match and index. So, first of all, what we can do, we will create a new column which is called the row. Okay. So what are we going to do with this row column? We are going to find the row number of every ID based on the order ID from the first table. We are going to use match we're going to have the lookup value. Then the lookup array is going to be there. Don't forget to fix it, of course. And the match type is exact match, which is 0. Press enter. And something like this. So of course we have the order IDs and IDs absolutely the same, but if we expand it like that, we will get the different criteria, so that is absolutely okay. And the deal with the Excel is absolutely simple. If we know the number of the row or the number of the column, we are able to get the values from this row or from this column. This is not very difficult. So for that we will use the function which is called index. Let's have this array. Then we have row number, and row number is actually there. And the column number is price. It is 3. And now, do not forget, by the way, to fix the array. And this way we are able to get all the values correct. And of course, instead of the row number, we can just use match lookup value and lookup array, and use this even without the row column. And the total amount is going to be price multiplied by quantity. So this is it. This is how we use the index and match functions. Do you have any questions about the index and match functions? Okay, no questions about the index and match functions. Okay, so now we will speak about the error handling. So error handling is very important in Excel, and actually it is very important when we work, especially when we create different reports where different errors may make a great deal of our success. So let's create a new worksheet. We'll have lecture 4, something like this. Okay, and we will just discuss one of the most typical mistakes, which is called division by 0. Let's create a new table, which is going to be branch average profit or total profit. Then we will use deals amount and average let's have average deal amount, and instead of deals amount, number of deals. Like this. We will have different branches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Let's have, I don't know, 10 of them. Total profit is going to be random between 15,000 and 1.5 million. Like this. Okay, number of deals is also going to be random between 1 and 20. This is good. And average deals amount is absolutely simple to count. We just divide total profit by the number of deals. Yep, like this. And we'll have the following situation. So, what is the problem here? We do not have any problems here actually, because, well, we do not have any mistakes. But imagine that we have two new branches, like branch 11 and branch 12, and by the end of the quarter, for example, they do not have any profit because they are just new. They just opened, they do not have any number of deals, and you see Excel already gives us a mistake, which is called a division by 0. What are we supposed to do in this situation? Because in official documents, in official reports, this is a very bad, well, mark. It is not supposed to stay in the official reports. So what are we supposed to do? We can use the function which is called if error. Let's just duplicate the average deal amount column and apply if error function to it. What do we have there? If error. If error, if we look at the function, it returns value that we specify if expression is an error or the value of the expression itself otherwise. So in other words, in case there is an error in the average deal amount, we will specify what we want to write there, and if there is no error, the standard value is going to be shown. So, what are we going to do? If error, the standard value is going to be total profit divided by number of deals, and the value if error is going to sound like no data. And now you see that instead of these errors, we are going to have no data value, which is much better looking than the standard mistake representation. Okay, let's have this error handling feature on one more example. So let's return, or let's create a new table. We will just copy the values, and you remember that we have with PPR like a vertical lookup function. We will just copy all of that. Let's copy this. Like this. Okay. So what is the problem, or what the problem may be? What if there is a position which is not presented in this table? For example, instead of secretary or manager, we are going to have a designer. We are going to have a mistake, probably. So we can use the if error with vertical lookup as well. So let's add a designer and maybe marketologist, or maybe brand manager. Brand manager. So let's go to our formula. We will use if error vertical with no mistakes is like vertical lookup, and if there is mistake, we will just use a standard value like 20,000, and that is enough. So now brand manager and designer have the same salary, which is equal to the one that we specified in if error function. So one more formula that is used for error handling is actually existent in Excel. It gives us a lot more possibilities because we can combine it with other formulas, and we will use it a lot in the future, and you will see how we can use it in future lectures. And actually what it does, it just specifies whether there is an error or not. So it is called is error, and it just shows false if there is no errors and true if there is an error. And in this case, we will be able to use this formula with the more complex combination of functions, for example, function if, that will allow us to do much more than the standard if error function. So this is what we need to know about the handling of the errors. Do you have any questions about this? Okay, no questions. Very good. Let's go on. Now we will work with the tool which is called data validation. This tool sometimes helps us to go over the mistakes and not have them at all. So let us return to this table with the job positions. Okay, how data validation works. For example, I want to make sure that in this column I can enter the values from this table only. So that I am not, also that it is not possible to enter other values like designer or brand manager. So how to do this? Let's delete all of this. By the way, let's delete if error. We can make it there. Anyway, so to do the data validation, we go to the data tab and we have data validation option. So what are we going to do? We just select the column, go to data validation and allow the list. And the source of this list is going to be from the job position column of the needed table. Then we go to the input message, and the input message may be like choose a job position. And the error alert is going to be no such job position. Like this. We press OK, and now you see that in every cell we have a drop down menu like this, and we are able to specify what we would like to have. Moreover, if we try to start writing something ourselves, for example, if we just enter head, it will show us that there is no such job position. That is why we just can use the head of the department. Like this. So this is the data validation tool. We can use a lot of interesting features with data validation. And by the way, what if we want to add a new job position here? For example, we add a brand manager, and it is going to be $35,000. Are we able to still select the brand manager? Unfortunately, not, because in order to be able to do this, we need to manage the data validation. So what we do there, select everything, go to data validation, go to settings, and we just make the selection bigger. Press OK, and then we are able to select the brand manager. And of course, do not forget to make the VIP here or vertical lookup function extended like this, so that the new value uses the new salary of the brand manager as well. So by the way, how to work with ranges right from the formulas, it is very comfortable to use these selection tools right there, so you can use them in order to make corrections pretty fast. Okay, so this is about the data validation. It is not very difficult, but it is very important anyway. So let's go to the next part of the lecture, which is going to be about the named ranges. So now what we need to understand is that the named ranges are simply the ranges with the names, obviously. So named ranges is the possibility in Excel to set the name for the range or for the cell. So let's take a look. Let's just finish it up. Secretary, I don't know, driver, brand manager one more time, manager, and security. Okay. Or let's have an intern. Okay, so when we look at this formula, you can see that we do not have any hints on what this formula or what elements this formula actually has. And if somebody works with our table and this person does not know what our formulas consist of, they will just be frustrated about the formulas and they will do not understand them at all, especially if the tables are very big. So, how to create the named range? We can just go, let's select the desired table or the desired range of cells. We can go to the Formulas tab and define name. Salary to position. Or let's say position salary, job position salary, press OK. OK, and now instead of this we can just use job position salary, press enter, and that's all. We have job position salary everywhere. So what is the advantage of named ranges is that we do not need to fix them. We can just set the named range and use it in our work. So this is it. If we want to set the name even faster, for example, we want to have the bonus column named as the bonus, we just can go there right next to the function manager and write bonus. And now if we want to find the tax, we can just multiply the bonus multiplied by 13%, and that's it. And we are going to have the bonus everywhere. So this is it. This is the work with the named ranges. However, you need to know how to work with the deletion and the creation of new named ranges. For example, we do not want to have the bonus named range right now. We go to the name manager and we can edit or delete this named range. Let's delete all of them. And what are we going to see? We are going to see the errors here because we have 20,000 troubles, and we have the name problem here as well. So let's return them. And this is it. This is how we use the named ranges to work efficiently with Excel. Do you have any questions by now? Okay, no questions. And let's go on with the basics of Excel. Now we'll speak about the filtering and sorting by color and conditional formatting, of course. So, previously we have already discussed the tools of filtering and sorting. We can use the filter and sorting in a slightly different way, by the way. So, let me try to find something interesting. Okay, let's create a new table. Lecture 4.6. Something like this. Let's create a new table. It's just going to be product, quantity, price. That's it. Products are going to be apple, pineapple, coconut, then watermelon, and banana. Then we're going to have table, chair, sofa, bed, and finally we're going to have laptop, smartphone, smartwatch, and let me see, headphones, like this. Let's have random quantity, because why not? And the price is going to be random as well. 500 to 1.5. Like this, but the laptop is going to be 3000, smartphone like this. Smartwatch is going to be 2000, headphones is going to be 1800. Pretty nice. Okay, and table and so far. Let's have between. Very good. Okay, very good. So now let's color our cells in accordance with their, well, type. We have food there, we have the home equipment, and of course the electronics. So let's have the food painted in green. Home equipment is going to be yellow, and electronics are going to be blue. So what can we do? Let's turn on the filter. We can filter things according to the filter. For example, filter by color, cell color, light green. Now we have all the green values. Then we can filter by color, cell color, let me see, yellow, and so on and so forth. If we want to add something, just go to light yellow, of course, there. Let's clear the filter. These are the basics. We can also sort by color. You see, sort by color, green, and then, or let's have by light blue, and then maybe we want to sort by yellow. Then we have blue, yellow, and green. If we want to have blue there, we can sort all the values in accordance. So sorting by color and filtering by color is not actually very difficult, but you need to get a hand of it, and you will be able to get it during the practical class. Let's create a new table. Lecture 4.7. This is going to be about the conditional formatting. Let's create a new table, which is going to be ID, name, 6, date of birth, salary. Something like this. Let's go over there. I already have something. Like this, date of birth is going to be random in between 1st of January 1970 and 1st of January 1995. Well, everywhere we have strange numbers, but we just use this short date. And of course, let's set them values only. Finally, salary. Let's get the salary out of somewhere. Copy. Like this. Okay. So, what is the conditional formatting? Conditional formatting lets us format the cells that, well, actually go with this or that criteria. and the criteria is usually connected with the value which is placed in these cells. Okay, let's try to highlight the cells with the date of birth which is earlier than the date that we want to specify. So we have the highlight cells rules, and we want to have the greater than. Style is going to be classic. Okay, we go to the date of birth, greater than, cell value, greater than, $85. Okay. Do not forget to select everything. Highlight greater than the 1st of January 1985. Okay, and now we have all the values that match the criteria. So this is not very difficult, obviously, and let's try to highlight the salaries that are between the values, for example, between 20,000 and $45,000. And these are the values that we have as a result. Not very difficult. And the case with the conditional formatting is that you can set it any way that you like. Of course, we can have the top bottom rules, for example, top 10 items, and for example, below average. It is up to you, so you will be able to get hand of it. It is not very difficult. In addition, we can have the icon set, which allows us to add the icons as in the official documents, or we can even use the data bars or color scales like this from the lowest to highest, or we want to have the data bars. Let's clear rules from the selected and data bars that are going to look like this. So this is not very difficult, but what we need to know is that we can use conditional formatting with the formula. For example, we want to highlight the name based on the sex specified. So what we do, we select all the name column, go to conditional formatting, and go to manage rules. We just use the plus and to color scale, or we can just go with classic. We can use a formula to determine which cells to format, and just remind ourselves about if formula, what we do equal C1 or C2 equal male. Press OK and OK, and now we have all the males specified. So this is not very difficult. And let's now highlight the IDs of all the people that get more than $25,000. So what we do, just go to the classic, use a formula to determine, and what we do is E2 more than 25, oh, let's have more than $30,000. Press OK, OK, and we've got all of them specified or highlighted in the ID column. This is not very difficult, but it is very important to be able to use it. And finally, one of the most important things that you do need to know about Excel is how to work with diagrams in it. So, this is not very difficult actually when you try to work with this. Let's just create a new final worksheet, which is called lecture 5, lecture 4, 8, and we will create a new table, which is going to be months, and sales amount, or profit. Let's have profit, and have them in bold. January, December profit is going to be rent between 100 and values only, like this. Okay, so we have some data that actually depends on another value. So how to create a diagram? We just select the table, go to insert, and we have, well, recommended chart, charts and diagrams, and so on and so forth, column, and so on. So let's go to recommended charts, or we can just go to I don't know what I like. I suppose that, like this. We have profit according to the months. This is not very difficult. So how to set the styles of this diagram? You see we have chart design and format. First of all, if we speak about the chart design, we can add different chart elements right there that you can specify. You can specify the grid lines, you can specify the trend line, linear, you can specify the legend, and so on and so forth. You can get the quick layout like this, but it is up to you actually. You can change the colors from monochromatic to colorful. It depends on you actually. Let's return to the blue one. You can specify the style and make it, well, like neon or like this one. It depends actually on your on your personal desires. Yeah, like this as well. So it's not very difficult actually, and I suppose that if you worked with Excel before, data labels none. If you worked with the Excel before, you already know how to work with the charts. And actually, you also can go to the format and format anything. This is not very difficult, as for me. But one last thing that I want to show you is that we can make an even, sure, for 9, can make even more difficult table. Let's have months, Snickers, sales, and Snickers, Snickers sales, and Mars sales, like this. January, rent between this. And this one looks like this. Run between. Like this. So let's create a chart. Insert recommended charts. It's going to look like this, not very difficult. And what if we have a new chocolate, which is called like Twix. Values only. And we've got the Twix, which is going to be rent between, again, 100,000 and 400,000. Values only. And we want to add it to the chart, actually. So what we do, we just go to select data. We can select a new series, range details, like this. 1 second. Just go to select data. We can actually make the chart data range bigger. Press OK, and now we have the Twix. So this is not very difficult. And finally, we would like to create a new column, which is going to specify the, let us see, okay, let it be needed sales level. And needed sales level is going to be run between 150, 300, like 400. Values only. And what we need there, we want to add, like select data. Of course, we will have needed sales level, but we want to represent the needed sales level in a little bit different way. So what can we do actually? We just go to the chart title. Of course, we can go to the chart bars, and we can format data series in this way. And let me see, we can just select data, needed sales level, yep, and in these we just select the bar that we actually need, needed sales level, right click, change chart type, and let's have it as a line, like this. So in this case we will be able to see what we actually need in this diagram as a trend line or something like this. So this is how we work with the diagrams. Please tell me, do you have any questions about the lecture? Okay, so I suppose if you do not have any questions, this is all for today. This is all for the lecture. Thank you very much and see you in 10 minutes on a practical class. Thank you very much and see you in 10 minutes. Bye bye.